Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Oakes, and you are listening or watching the smartsocial.com podcast, where people all over the world learn how to keep their kids safe online so they can someday shine online. Here at smartsocial.com, we reach about 1.5 million people a year, showing parents and students that social media can be very good. Screen time can be good, but we need to get back to that purpose instead of just having it as a pastime. We need to get back to having a plan around the things that we do with these amazing devices that we give children at a younger and younger age. Today, I have an awesome expert, but before we get to it, today we're going to explain the consequences of if your child exhibits poor screen time management. You know, some of the experts have said, and I have misplaced my phone, which is awesome. That means it's not within reach. But pretend like I have a phone. Some experts say that the phone that we give our children is as addictive as alcohol and drugs, or alcohol and cigarettes. And yet we're giving it to them younger and younger and saying, figure out when to get off of it. When really every adult listening to this right now has a friend, a family member who's on Facebook probably too much. They're probably on Instagram too much. They're posting too much. And if we as adults can't manage that, boy, do we need to work hard and work together to help your kids. Now, today, I have an absolute expert, somebody who in the field we can all look up to. Her name, she comes to us live from Chicago. Dr. Catherine Jackson, licensed psychologist and neurotherapist, is here to explain to us the consequences if your child exhibits poor screen time management and what we can do to keep them safe. Dr. Jackson, welcome to the video. It's an honor to have you here today. Okay, I am practical and tactical, so we're not here to scare people. We're here to offer real tips, and I am your cheerleader. We're going to pull some of these tips out of you. Now, you talk a little bit about how the brain, when we use stuff too much, these screen time, that it will change our brain. I want you to talk to us about the first warning sign. Tell us about the first warning sign if kids have a difficulty getting off their screens.
That's the first warning sign, that it's difficult for them to get off. You can ask kids to get off and they're asking for more time, or you can even give time warnings, but by the time you get to the point that they're supposed to get off, you give them 15 minutes, then you give them a time warning at 10 minutes, then you give them a time warning at 5 minutes, and you're like, one more minute, you want to wrap it up, and they still have a hard time getting off, even though they knew that the time to get off was coming. So that's one of the first signs that your kid may have an issue being with getting on offline or getting off the screen.
Do you see this a lot?
Too much, yes. Way too much. And lots of parents, it's easy to plop kids in front of a screen or give them a screen while you cook, or you have to complete something else sometimes. So I think it just becomes that easy thing to pacify the kids' time.
So true. Okay, next. One of your next warning signs is if your child's mood changes. Talk to us about that and what some of those signs are.
A lot of kids who have a hard time getting off screens and turning them off, once they get off, their mood changes. So they can be completely happy while they're on the screen, watching TV, playing a game, whatever screen it is. But then as soon as it's time to get off, they become irritable. Sometimes they become combative. Lots of family conflicts happen after you ask the kids to get off and to transition maybe to bedtime or to something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's key. And they might even be irritable, like you said, or hitting others.
Yeah. Hitting, cursing, name calling, even with their parents. It's not just with fellow siblings.
Yeah.
And, sometimes even towards themselves. Really,
and I know the answer to this, but Dr. Jackson, how often do you see this?
I see it too much.
Yeah.
Like way too much. A little more so with boys and girls.
And would you say that this has a little bit, could this be likened to a little bit of weaning them off of kind of a drug of some sort of we get irritable?
Some of the same areas of the brain are highlighted with any kind of addiction. So if it's like a drug or if it's screens, it's kind of the same areas of the brain that are being highlighted. And you got to slowly wean kids off of that kind of.
Adults, you're watching this. I have a big cup of iced coffee that I make at home. but but there are some days when I'll go without this, and this is the thing. This and my Gmail inbox. I am the first person on stage to say I have an addiction, and it's to a coffee, iced coffee, and that I make at home because I'm not rich. I can't. Starbucks, if you're listening, you're too expensive. But if I go without this, I mean, the first level of an addiction is to admit it. I do get irritable, right? It's all around us. And if we give kids a device, right, let's be honest with each other. If you give them advice, I mean, who can blame them if they get free reign to a drug and they don't know how much, okay, I've had one, I should stop, right? There is no one measure of increment, right? So I'm rooting for the kids here because, yeah. All right. Dr. Jackson, I like you so much. You are terrific. I told you I'd be your cheerleader, but okay, talk to us about your next tip, which is if your child only uses screens and no longer engages in other activities, what does that mean? And what are some of the things we can do there?
Just like you said, we're not here to beat anybody up or to come down on anybody, but if kids are only using screens and you're not encouraging them to do something else, then it's almost setting your kids up for an addiction to screens, because that's the only thing they know for fun, and that's the only place that they get their pleasure. And so when you just want to encourage the kids to do something else, and to set those boundaries. But we can talk about that one a little bit later. But you really want to set, kids want boundaries. They don't want to be left, like you said, to be able to figure it all out on their own. Mm-hmm. And so if parents can set up the boundaries early, as soon as you decide that you're going to give your kids access to any screens where they can start to control some of it on their own, you want to start to set up those boundaries around it.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. All right. So talk to us about a way to fix this, right? What is one of those boundaries? You mentioned that it's self-regulating. How do we help them to self-regulate?
With the boundaries and with setting limits. A lot of research shows that medical doctors recommend 1 hour a day of screen time. Mm-hmm. Most kids have far more than that per day. Mm-hmm. If you can limit it even more and encourage things, other things around the house, maybe get the kids helping you to cook dinner, teaching them some of those vital social skills and vital day-to-day living skills around the house. And so they're, because they got to have something to fill that time. You can't just take the phone away or take the games away and expect them to sit quietly on the couch.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there's a few tips there with what should we do with all that extra screen time. And I love this because as we are the cheerleaders of digital safety and shining online, and that's all we are, as leading learners, we take the world's smartest people like you, Dr. Jackson. We're seeing a trend that if you remove the drug, then you have to replace it with something, right? And we have to replace it with something healthy, right? And look at me. Look how full this is. This is a problem, people, right? So that's a big thing. Parents, if you're watching right now, if you remove the screen time, which is red, which is scary warning, we have to replace it with something. And I have something at the end here, an idea. Dr. Jackson, you mentioned encourage your children to read, play board games, engage in family time, participate in hobbies, volunteer, join clubs, preferably ones that promote socialization with peers. Mm-hmm. I love this. Really, which is giving them back the chance to socialize, communicate verbally, look at people, rather than just putting that headset on and playing multiplayer games, right?
Yes. And we lose a lot of social cues with online communication. And if that's your child's only or main way of communicating, when they have to get out into the real world, they're going to have a hard time reading social cues, knowing when to do this and knowing when to do that, when it's appropriate to laugh at something, when it's not. Yeah, showing empathy. They're going to lose a lot of those skills.
I'm going to go grab my phone in the other room because I want to show people something. I'm going to ask you this question. You're going to see me, you might see me run off screen, but for 5 seconds, but I want you to tell everybody what is good screen time, because you say in your report on our blog that not all screen time is bad screen time. Can you walk us through, give us 3 examples of good screen time?
Okay, as you grab your phone, some good screen time would be watching a movie together. That could be at home or at the theater. You can also play games together, like Words with Friends. I play all the time with family members, and you could play together. That's a really good a way use of screens. You could be in the house together. You can even be in close proximity and talk nice snack talk to each other. But that's a healthy use of screen time. And I'm drawing a blank on a third one here, but you said a really good one earlier.
Yeah, I think earlier I said something about, well, obviously screen time. We love movie time together, right? Families picking a movie, whether it's G or PG, and the family decides what.
FaceTime. That was the other
FaceTime
one.
with grandparents or family members. Absolutely. I think that's really, really important. And I want to jump in at this moment, Dr. Jackson, and just show people something new that we have that tends to be quite popular. We have what we call our new smartsocial.com app. And I'm not sure if you can see that here right now, but it should be on the front of the page. Now, we have a new app that keeps your family safe on social media. It's 100% free. It has social media advanced tips, positive videos students can watch, and you can ask questions and get answers, get ideas. It's in the bottom right down here. Everybody that's listening to this on the podcast, you can go to the iOS store. We spend a lot of our time keeping kids safe and smart online, and we want to make a resource. Parents have been begging us, can you make a resource that we can put in our pocket? So after a lot of development and stuff, we now have people can register and log in. Schools will often buy 1,000 subscriptions to this. But here's the coolest part, is that there's an app review tab in the bottom right, and it really has the most popular teen apps for parents and kids to protect their children. So if your kid is on an app that is in the gray zone or the red zone, which means it's full of anonymous behavior, they could be addicted to getting anonymous feedback like after school apps. So if you're wondering, how can I become an expert? Well, this app might be an option for you to have free resources in your pocket. Once again, we at smartsocial.com are here to cheerlead the Dr. Jacksons of the world, and then also to provide for you a curated set of tips. Now, I'm going to click on resources in the bottom right here just real quick. And this is a plug for a free resource that you can use. And one of the cool things is we have teen slang emojis and hashtags, a free page. We also have an offline activities page. I mean, if you really want to geek out with me, we have, what do I replace screen time with? I mean, we've got all kinds of stuff, Legos, books, and these are links to Amazon where we've actually curated the top rated puzzles, top rated board games, you name it, card games, 100% in line with what Dr. Jackson is saying. You want to get a bicycle for age 4+ and teach your kids how to do crafts? We've got a link to that. If we go back over to here real quick, we've got a huge list of frequently asked FAQs, and my team has made 1-minute videos that answer just about every question. And in fact, it takes a moment to load because it's just such a big page. But we have social media apps and cell phone safety, screen time, building a positive online footprint. When should I give my kids a cell phone? We have tips that are backed by some of the world's experts, and then also a 1-minute video. We update this from time to time. Why is a flip phone a good place to start? And we've got about 50 videos on that page. One more thing, parental control software. If you're wondering how to add a layer of safety, well, this is our 2019 parental control software that features the pros and the cons of some of these apps. Yes, we do not receive money from any of them, so we are able to say pros and cons, tell you what we like and dislike. And then last, teen slang, emojis, and hashtags. Elisa in our office, shout out to her. She has put together a list of almost 1,000 popular teen slang, social media terms, social media acronyms, and all these different things and dangerous hashtags. And all you have to do is go through them, and they teach you stuff live. And that is the Smart Social app. It looks like this in the iOS App Store, coming to Android soon. Dr. Jackson, I want to thank you for your time here today because you've been
for having me.
Terrific. And we want to take your knowledge and share it with the world. I'm going to give you a last word. What would you tell people who are maybe struggling with too much screen time? What's your tip on how they can start?
I say start with a small social detox. Just try to go like an hour without picking up the phone or picking up your tablet or some kind of screen, and then increase that over time. I'm actually in the middle of doing a 10-day social media detox. So if you can detox yourself from social media or screens for a little increments, then you can build up to it, and you will find that you do not need it as much as you feel like you do.
I love it. I do a week or 2 weeks every year, and then delete the apps from time to time, just so that I have to re-down them when I get home on Wi-Fi. I love it. I mean, we have to kind of mess with ourselves to get ourselves off of it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time here, Dr. Jackson.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. To all of you that are listening or watching, you can go to smartsocial.com to learn more. Our goal is that we help you to keep your kids safe on social media so they can someday shine online, build a positive future. We want your kids to have a purpose instead of just a pastime when it comes to the digital devices and the social media accounts that we give them, because we do believe that there is a lot of power and positivity in what we're giving them. We just want to make sure that we have that plan early on. You can join our free webinar at smartsocial.com, where we give you lots of safety and positive tips and techniques and tactics so that you can feel comfortable and have a little bit of wisdom when you're working with your kids. Thank you to all of you. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.